Hi everyone, today let's talk about Disney earnings, then we'll take a look at the charts, then we'll finish up with some possible trade ideas. If you like trading stocks and options and making money, definitely like and subscribe. I make videos like this every single day that the markets are open as well as Sundays, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So Disney turned out some pretty strong earnings for the first time here in a while. It feels like they've been on a pretty consistent down move, and now we're seeing a little bit of pop over the last few months. You can see they're up pretty strong on the day, about 6.5%, a little bit more than that. So everything doing good. Their streaming business has been the bane of their existence, and it seems like they're starting to cut those losses. And you can see here they're expecting about $7.5 billion of cuts by the end of fiscal year 2024. Which is a very substantial amount of cuts, and they're expecting $4.60 earnings per share, which would be about 20% higher than the previous year, mostly due to that massive amount of cuts that they are trying to do. And based on that, you can see they were up about 7% in extended trading, so a big move here. Earnings per share, $1.22 compared to 99 cents expected. And you can see those revenues pretty good there at $23.55 billion. They did miss a little bit on revenues, but still beating on the earnings side. So that's good for the company. Overall, a pretty good result. And on the back of this, they did mention they were going to increase their dividend pretty substantially. So Disney has been a big dividend payer. They cut it with COVID, and now they're trying to reinstate those dividends as they've been improving their business model. They also mentioned that ESPN Plus is going to be their flagship launch here in 2024, and that's fairly exciting from the sports media world. They saw Disney Plus shrink by 1.3 million subscribers due to those price increases, but obviously with the price increases, the users that did stay did pay a little bit more per user, so still okay there. And I'm definitely curious to see how this continues going forward. And like I mentioned, they talk about their flagship streaming platform that's going to launch with ESPN, Fox, Warner Brothers, and Discovery later this year. They're saying that could cost $45 to $50 per month. That does seem pretty expensive. Definitely not something that I would be interested in. I do like ESPN Plus and I do have it now, but if I can't get ESPN separate for the current price, then I don't think I would be paying $45 and I'd probably just have to let that go. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out, if they have any alternative options, or if you can only do their flagship everything streaming service going forward. And then they talked about some of their blockbusters coming out over the next few years. Another Avatar film, those have been very successful. Another 2 Star Wars movies, and then another Avengers team up flick, which all have been very, very strong for their company. Seems like they haven't had very much success outside of their core lineup of movies, so it'll be good to see those major releases coming back over the next 2 years. And then finally, they finish up by mentioning the experience division saw a 7% bump, which is really focused on their parks. And that was on the back of higher ticket prices, as well as strong Disney Cruise Line growth. Moving over to the charts, starting off with the weekly chart, you can see we are in the same exact spot that we were going all the way back to February of 2015. So this stock has not moved really at all. There's definitely been some ups and downs, but we are at that same level. That's why I was mentioning the dividend is super important for this company. On capital appreciation, you've really made nothing for about 10 years almost. Sure, there's been some good trading opportunities. You would have had the opportunity to exit up around $202, and then you could have bought back in down around $80 here more recently, which was also the same level that we saw at the COVID low. So we hit our COVID low, rallied up to $200, fell all the way back, round trip that whole move back down to the COVID low, and now we're bouncing off that level here, and we can see a little bit of a short-term trend. Let's go ahead and look at it on the daily chart. You can see we've been moving higher since October along with everything else, and since then we've rallied from $80 almost to $100. Let's see if we can see that move here on the hourly chart. That big spike after hours did push us up to around 107, fell a little bit back down to 105.80. So let's look at that back on the daily chart. So 105.80 puts us up around this third trend line already. So we're hitting that up here on the after hours move. It'll be interesting to see what happens from this level. If it can break above, push up to the next trend line around 112. And then I have resistance here at 113 as well. see if there's any levels that are interesting. Let's go ahead and add one right here at this midpoint, going back to this turning point from October of 22. And then you can see it's this neckline here from these previous turns as well. So interesting level. We are kind of right there. If that breaks, then you can look for a potential move to that 113 level. And it'll be interesting to see if Disney has any follow through on that move. Moving over to the Tasty charts here on the weekly chart, you can see that upper ATR band currently trading at 103.30. So we're going to be well above that. You can see the long-term 144 EMA on this chart sitting at 110. I would expect a test of that level. So right in that same range that we were talking about. We're at 107-ish, pushing for that 110, and then 113 would be your next level. We'll be well above all the ATR bands on the weekly chart. Let's go ahead and look at the monthly, see if that gives us any kind of advantage here. So 313 is that 55 EMA on the monthly chart, so that would make sense. Again, right in that same price target. You can see everything's bullish here. Momentum on the monthly is bullish. It had been swinging to bullish for a long time. Now we're finally seeing a little bit more follow through on that price action. That 113 level is also right at that second higher ATR band. It's worth noting that the monthly chart is still a downtrend based on the Tasty charts, but jumping back down here to the weekly chart, you can see this is an uptrend, at least into that 108.83 area. So everything does look a little bit bullish on the shorter time frames with a little bit of overhead resistance, which will definitely be interesting as we watch this follow through. Moving over to the options, you have 2-day options for the Friday expiration. You're getting almost $3 on these options. Obviously with earnings, that's going to be a little bit more when there's more volatility in markets. You can see the IV rank here at 70, which is pretty high for really any stock. So there was definitely some opportunity to get into Disney if you were interested prior to earnings. It'll be interesting to see how these settle out. Let's go out one more week. Yep, you're still getting right around that $3 mark for another week from now, which there is some decent volume on these options also. So could give you an opportunity to get into the stock for a little bit cheaper, but still play the upside over the next week or two. If you can get between $2 and $3, that's a pretty decent return if you're looking to get into Disney over the next week or two. And I would expect some upside. Typically, there's more upside to come if the dividend goes higher with it, similar to what we saw on Meta. And Meta has done pretty well with its upside since the announcement of that dividend. So Disney does seem like a little bit of an opportunity, and they might be turning the ship around, at least in the short term. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of Disney. Is it an opportunity? Is this finally the turnaround that we've been looking for with Disney? Or is this just short term and we're going to end up back at those COVID lows or potentially even lower? Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. And make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.